You're not losing weight and avoiding harmful foods just until you can get to that goal weight. No, no, no. You are changing your perception and your thoughts regarding a healthy lifestyle. That's the goal. You want it so badly, you're willing to pick your hard. What do I mean by that? Well, it's hard to lose weight. I think we'd all say, yeah, that can be challenging. But guess what? It's also hard not to lose weight. So you pick your hard. On the Choose to Think podcast, I will encourage and empower you to engage and optimize your best thought life in practical, meaningful ways so that you can live day by day in joy, peace, and God's purpose despite all externals. This is Victoria, and welcome back to the Choose to Think podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the Choose to Think Inspirational Podcast. This is Victoria, and I'm so glad that you are joining us for these special I Choose to Think About My Physical Health episodes. You're going to love this message today, and it's the perfect time to hear it. I want to encourage you to stop believing that weight loss, having lower cholesterol, being flexible, obtaining heart and brain health, and making sure your blood pressure is the right level is not for you. Did you understand what I just said? In other words, I want you to stop thinking that all these wonderful things like being at your optimal weight, having normal cholesterol levels, being flexible, making sure that your heart and brain are healthy and that your blood pressure isn't too high, that these things are not attainable for you. They are. And that you cannot improve when it comes to certain areas of your health is absolutely not true. It's a downright lie. And I'm going to take you through and share with you some of the things that I do to stay healthy, fit, fab, and 50-ish. Well, if you've hung out long enough listening to the show, you know that we are all about our thoughts. And when it comes to our health, our thoughts couldn't be more important. It's absolutely never too late to start making wise choices and to start taking those baby steps toward optimal physical and emotional health today. And you're thinking, okay, wait a minute. It's the holidays. What about my Aunt Glenda's fudge? What about all that mix? What about trail mix? What about all the fruitcake? And yes, confession, I love my mom's fruitcake. I love it. Anyway, you get the picture. So what if it's the holidays? You're thinking, I can't start now. I don't want to start now. Why would I start now? Heck, I'm not going to do this now. I'm going to enjoy. And I'm going to say, I know. But if you're using the excuse of the holidays as a reason or a justification for you to overeat or overindulge in foods and beverages and reasons to just kind of stay on the couch all day, well, that really wrecks your body and may even damage your brain in some cases. So I'm going to suggest also that you're missing the point because the point is not that foods are good or bad. The point is that we have a choice in our health and we can make both wise or foolish decisions regarding our food choices and our exercise regimen. Stay tuned because I'm going to share with you 2 indoor pieces of exercise equipment that to me are must-haves for those of us who really want to make our health a priority. But before we get to the nitty-gritty here, I have a question for you. Do you know why you are going to want to purchase the Choose to Think devotional? Simply answered, it will change your life. The Devo is for all of 2022, and there are 1 5-minute devotions for each day. You'll find a target scripture passage, an I choose affirmation, a practical application or research about the affirmation, as well as journal prompts or reflection questions, and a concluding prayer. It's a one-stop shop for seeking God and meditating on His Word and the way He has created us. He's given us this wonderful brain and mind, and He tells us clearly in His Word to take every thought captive and to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Within the pages of the Devo, you'll also learn about my signature strategy to help you renew your mind. It's called the 7 R's for living your best thought life. Matter of fact, if you purchase the book, there's a link there for you to get a free 1-page infographic of the 7 R's. So you can stick it up on your fridge, use it as a bookmark, put it on a mirror. Having a friend or two for accountability really is a best practice. The link to buy the book is in the show notes, so please get your copy today. Let me know if you do. Also, I'd love to know. Also, as a special gift this Christmas, this holiday season, I would love for you to download the Ultimate Christmas List Making and Survival Kit. I call it Survival Kit because, December is like riding the rapids, isn't it? Well, this kit is a free 44-page document that has a gazillion lists, ideas, recipes, games, and new traditions, and so much more to help you find and keep your sanity during the month of December. It's compiled from years of list making that I did personally to help me and my family over the decades. I promise you, I guarantee to you that there is something in the kit that you're going to love to put into play this holiday season. So be sure to snag your copy today. And again, both those links are in the show notes. Okay, on to the show topic. For anybody my age, we have to work quite deliberately to stay fit and fab and 50-ish, right? Okay, that needs no explanation. But let me tell you right now that I want to be the kind of grandma who can chase her kids around comfortably, who can dance like a wild woman, and who can bend down to pick up a toy or stretch without pulling a muscle or throwing out my back. I want to be the kind of Nana that can take long nature hikes with my grandkids, ride our bikes together, and eat tons of healthy foods together. I do not want to be the kind of grandma that feeds my grandkids sugar or sticks them in front of a screen. Why would I do that when it's so bad for their brains and their growing bodies? Okay, confession. About all the sugar, about the sweet treats. I do have a few sweet treats around. And I'm going to tell you 2. One of them is Trader Joe's dark chocolate covered whip honey mints. Those things only have 3 ingredients: honey, and it's whipped honey, dark chocolate, and a hint of peppermint. And they are amazing. I love to have those around because they're just those 3 ingredients. The dark chocolate, there's no added sugar. I mean, obviously honey is sweet, but it makes for a great, if I'm just having a craving, then I can go to that jar. I used to keep M&Ms around, okay? All the saturated fat, all the sugar, all the junk. So my grands know that I have a little candy dish, actually a larger kind of candy dish with a top on it, a little container with the top on it. And they can grab those snacks anytime they want. So they're filled with those Trader Joe's dark chocolate covered whipped honey mints. And again, I'll put the link for you in the show notes in case you're interested. It's far better to go to Trader Joe's. They're much less expensive than, say, by buying on Amazon. But my other favorite is one my daughter shared with me, and it's NO Foods coconut. Okay, let me just read their title so I get this right. It's NO Foods Dark Chocolate Keto Nuggets, coconut seeds, pumpkin seeds, quinoa, and sunflower seeds. And they only have 3 G's of fat and 4 G's of carbs in one serving. Oh my lands. They are delicious. Again, let me tell you that they are made with organic Belgian dark chocolate. They're non-GMO. There are no artificial flavors or colors, gluten-free, kosher. They're an amazing super seed blend. You're getting 3 G's of protein per serving. And you can snack guilty-free with this kind of keto snack. I just love them. These nuggets are delicious. I try to use them just for a small, like an after-dinner dessert almost. Just a couple of pieces after a great meal. That will do me. And I'll give you my affiliate link on Amazon. But again, I would tell you they're much cheaper at Costco. But they're worth it if you want something healthy to have around as an alternative to all the other junk that often we're tempted by over the holidays especially. So yeah, it's not like I've said no to all measure of sweets. I'm not that way. And I even heard someone say, hey, make sure 90% of your diet is really healthy and then give yourself some wiggle room with the other 10%. So I try to do that. That way I'm not just living so fixated on food or giving myself a hard time when I have something that has sugar in it. I'm not that way at all. But I do want to make sure that what I am giving my grandkids, what I am consuming myself, that they're as healthy as I can make it. And I want to be a good role model for my kids. And believe me, I didn't always do this. I mean, I gave my kids Pop-Tarts growing up, okay? And I fed them that and fast food and you name it. I just did all of that. And sorry kids, you're on your own now. I just didn't know any better. I took a lot of shortcuts. I mean, they had a lot of good foods too, but still, or healthy foods, I should say, but still, we can always do better, right? So I now get my grands, and that's the great thing about having grandkids. What we didn't do for our own kids, we're trying to raise our own kids, and so it's hard. But when you're a grandparent, things are a little different because the kids go home and you don't have that as much of a burden. The responsibility is still great, and we still get to influence, but we can do it kind of with a different angle, and we can bring wisdom to the picture and to the page because of what we've learned over all these years. So, and you can do the same as well. But let's get down to how I attempt as best I can to stay healthy and physically fit. And toward the end of the show, we'll talk about a few of those pesky thoughts that may play interference with our trying our very best to stay fit. All right. We want that, but what gets in the way? So first, one of the first things I do is that I make sure I get my 10K steps in daily, or at least an average of 10K steps over, the week, let's say. Some days I get in 8K, but then the next day I'll get 12K. So the important thing is that I'm moving. I've actually seen some research that says the 7K steps was, or that the 10K steps was more of a marketing thing, and really 7K steps might be the actual sweet spot for the number of steps that we get every day. So, don't get too hung up on the number. The important thing is that you do something, that you get up and move. So how do I do it? Well, often I walk outside. Rico loves to sniff every blade of grass in Midway. So this is an easy way to get some exercise. I get all that good vitamin D, which is good for my immunity, good for my health. I get all that fresh air, and I'm relieving so much stress. And the other thing I do is I play a lot of pickleball, both outdoors and indoors. I also have a group of ladies. I try to exercise with them. They meet twice a week, and they do more like some weightlifting and strength endurance kinds of exercises. And I love to go there if I don't have like a pickleball conflict or something. And both pickleball and this exercise group, not only does it give me accountability, but it also gives my social life a huge boost. I mean, I'm keeping myself flexible. I'm moving. I'm getting that hand-eye coordination going, especially with pickleball, because pickleball is a lot like ping pong in ways, and tennis and racquetball. And so there's got to be good hand-eye coordination, and all of that is so good for my brain. That helps prevent, keeping my brain active. I don't want Alzheimer's and dementia to set in, and this is just one thing that I can do. Learn something new, be active. All of that is so good for our bodies and our brains. I want to share these two pieces of equipment that I love to use indoors. I have the links in the show notes as well, or the YouTube description if you're watching on, or you'll be listening on YouTube. But thanks you so much for tuning in. Be sure to put a like on that video that you're listening to and subscribe to the channel. It would just mean the world to me. If you're listening on any of the podcast apps, especially if it's Apple, if you could write a review for me, I swear I would just jump over the moon. I would just love you forever for doing that. So I really mean that. I appreciate that so much. But the two pieces of equipment, I'm going to tell you, these are what I have. But then when I was researching on Amazon, I found I found the Amazon Choice selections of these two particular items. I'm in need of a new one on one of them, and I'm going to share with you the one that I'm looking at. So number one, how do I get those 10K steps in? Let's say it's bad weather, or I don't get to play pickleball, or I'm stuck at home, or I have work to do, or whatever. Well, I use an exercycle, and that's the old word or old way to say it, but a stationary bike maybe. And I actually have made a way I put my Fitbit on my ankle or on my shoestring, and I count my steps while I'm riding that thing. And it just works for me. Now, I'm going to tell you about one on Amazon that I found that has over 6,000 reviews, and it comes in at 4.5 on the scale as far as reviews, 5 stars go. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have this indoor bike, but I do have one that I love that folds, and you can store it really easily. You can stick it in a corner. But what I love to do is I prop my laptop up on there, and I actually secure it with this little small bungee cord, and then I ride that bike and I grade. Because I teach Spanish at the university level, I teach all these online classes, and so I'll just be riding away, tracking my steps, getting my heart pumping, and I'm just grading at the same time, because it's hard to get outside sometimes, especially during the colder winter months in Kentucky. It could be freezing outside or raining and wet, and I don't want to skimp on my steps. So that's one workaround that I found. It's just that important to me to do it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But if I'm not cycling, I'm jumping, or apparently they say rebounding these days. So I'm rebounding, and this is my second fave piece of equipment, and that's a mini indoor trampoline. One of the reasons I love it is because it's so amazing on my joints. Some studies even suggest that jumping on a trampoline lowers your blood pressure. If you struggle with foot issues like I do, I'm my feet, sometimes I get plantar fasciitis flare-ups. Matter of fact, I did an episode recently, and I gave you a gazillion of my favorite items and products that I use to combat those pesky plantar fascia, because I want to be active, I want to be mobile, I want to play pickleball, I want to walk every day, but that can be hard on my feet. So what I found with the trampoline is that it's wonderful for foot issues because it's so cushiony and it gives, right? It's helpful for walking in place. Treadmills are nice, but I have found that the gentle contact and the pressure of the trampoline, that kind of, it bends with my foot as I bring it down. This is very helpful for my feet. And I'm in the market now for a new trampoline. The one that I have, and then I'm going to put the link on, into the show notes. This is one that I'm looking at buying. I think it's like $69. The one that I actually have had original springs, and it's a little noisy. So the one I'm going to buy, and as a matter of fact, it's broken. And by the way, my grands love to jump on this little mini indoor trampoline. They love it. But the one I'm going to buy has bungee cords instead, so it's much quieter, and I can't wait to get that one. But it's a 40-inch rebounder for adults, and again, you're going to see that it's a safely cushioned bounce, and it's also silent. I think you may like that as well as I do. And both of these are Amazon choices, as I said, so you can rest assured that a lot of people are buying these very items. They're very popular and very sound choices. And by the way, these would make great gifts for someone who's trying to stay in shape or lose weight. A trampoline is such an easy gift to get somebody, and it would last them for years, I would venture to say. Okay, so now let's tie in our thoughts with this topic just a bit. So I know, as I alluded to earlier, it's the holidays, and while most folks are busy gaining weight and overindulging, and you are learning to resist that type of thinking that says, oh, it's the holidays, and of course I'm going to indulge. You're not saying that. You're also not saying, okay, I'm going to get on my diet come January 1st. No, because you're going to face the holidays with grit and determination today, right now. I don't care what calendar day it is. We're not putting off our health. Today is the day that we're going to start making wise choices. We're not going to delay in that. You're not going to postpone your quest to get and stay healthy. Why? Because this is a lifestyle change. This is not a diet. This is not a way of just restricting your food intake so that when you get to some magical number on the scales, then you're going to start being able to eat whatever you want to eat again. That's not what this is about. This is about a lifestyle change. It's forever. You're going to start making little teeny changes. Examine your thoughts, any of those thoughts that are playing interference, like I'll start later, I'll start next week, I'll start January 1st. Examine those, ditch them, and recognize that, no, I'm going to become characterized by being a new, vibrant, healthy person who makes healthy, wholesome food choices, that sort of thing, and who desires to exercise, because believe me, there are so many benefits to exercising, so many health benefits to eating healthy whole foods without all the junk added, without all the sugar, without all the fat, without all the pesticides, all that stuff. Who wants that? We don't want that anymore. You look at food as healthy or not so healthy, not good or bad. You're constantly, consciously, I should say, and constantly deciding to make healthy choices each and every day, which includes Christmas and Christmas Eve and New Year's Day and holiday parties and birthdays, you name it. You're not losing weight and avoiding harmful foods just until you can get to that goal weight. No. You are changing your perception and your thoughts regarding a healthy lifestyle. That's the goal. You want it so badly, you're willing to pick your hard. What do I mean by that? Well, it's hard to lose weight. I think we'd all say, yeah, that can be challenging. But guess what? It's also hard not to lose weight. So you pick your hard. Now, regarding tracking your steps, if you have a thought that says, I can't possibly get 10K steps in daily, well, how about 2K or 5K or 7K? Ditch the all or nothing thinking, because it's really not serving you well, is it? Because if you think, I got to get 10K and it's either 10K or bust, you may go bust. So reframe those thoughts. Remember that sitting is the new smoking. So if you have an office job or you're sitting a lot, especially now while you're working from home, these particular 2 pieces of equipment can really help you. Don't buy into the lie that you can't get your movement in because of your job. This just isn't true. People do what they want. Do you want a healthy lifestyle? Boy, I sound like I'm coming, really. It's only because I'm so passionate about this, and I want this for you. I want you to have that freedom and that energy and that drive and that get up and go and to have a clear brain and a clear mind. I long for that for you, and that's really what I have most days. Not all days, but most days, that's what I have. You could even decide to do something like work for 15 minutes and then jump on the tramp for 2 minutes, or work 30 and jump for 5. Believe me, it's an amazing stress reliever to get your heart pumping and then let it go, back down to normal. Take deep breaths as you go. The trampoline and the exercise cycle are about the best things I ever did for keeping fit during the holidays and the cold winter months when it was way too cold or wet to get outside much. So it's like behind the scenes on how I'm doing it. And this is really how I'm doing it. So let me recap here. Reframe your thoughts to reflect your quest to become healthy, fit, and fabulous. These thoughts have nothing to do with food restrictions, but everything to do with how you are recharacterizing yourself. And you do not want to delay in living out this new lifestyle. Start today. Again, all the links are in the show notes. And if you found encouragement here and feel kind of inspired to re-examine your level of daily exercise and maybe some of the foods you're eating, please let me know. Shoot me an email at choosetothink@gmail.com. You can also pop on over to the website, choosetothink.co. Yep, that's .co. And the number, or the word 2 there, is actually the number 2 in both those links. And please pass the link on to a friend. And remember, I am a certified Christian life coach. And if you're feeling like you need an outside perspective on a sticky issue, and it could have everything to do with your health or your exercise, or maybe you can say, well, this is what I'm thinking about exercise, and this is what I'm thinking about my health, and this is what I'm thinking about my diet and my lifestyle, I can probably pick out any of those kind of toxic thoughts that take you to no good end and that are keeping you stuck, I can probably pick those out pretty quickly. And you and I together can actually develop a game plan to take back your thought life and pivot toward optimal emotional and physical health and wholeness. I would love to offer you a free, yes, I said complimentary 60-minute thought strategy session. But please hurry, because I only conduct a couple of thought strategy coaching sessions each month. That's all I have time for. So I would love to help you find freedom and peace today. And that's a wrap, Brain Changer. Thank you so much for tuning in. And say, if you like what you hear, please consider sharing this link to the show with a friend or a family member who you think might be encouraged by the inspiring and hope-filled messages that I try to put out every single week. So thank you so much for your support. And until next time, Dios primero y que Dios te bendiga. Ciao.